Hello there, Pumpkin. So recently I made some YouTube videos just asking you, I want to know what you think about how high Hex, Pulse, and PulseX can go. Because I think these ecosystems altogether are undervalued, and I'd like to see what everybody thinks. Now, I know what the crowd average is, and it's about a 100x for everybody else. And they expect about a 280x from today, right? So it's 100x on where their entry is. So we can deduce a couple of these things, friends. So what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to show you how these numbers can actually be better than what we think. So yes, I did the super safe case just to go and tell everybody, you know what? If we get certain numbers here and the crowd guesses wrong, which they always do, if they guess wrong and unfortunately the reality is lower, then yes, we will have something like total hex around 50 cents. Maybe it goes 60, 70. We will get something like PulseX equals 13.5x from day one sack. And then we'll get Pulse about a 50x. Okay, now obviously these ratios, you can never really get them 100%. But this is making one important assumption. And I've already made videos about this before. The assumption is that Ricardo Corazon himself does not own any of the circulating coins. So here we go. What does that mean? What am I actually talking about? Well, here's the thing, right? Right now, so let's do some basic numbers, friends. Let's do some basic numbers. So for Hex, for example, Hex has like 600 billion coins. We know the origin address owns most of the coins. We know the OA owns most of the coins. So what people incorrectly assume is they assume, and we don't know this for sure, but they assume that Richard Hart is the origin address and that's his personal wallet. I take the assumption that the OA is just a protector. It's a guardian. I think the OA is an emergency button. It is the fail-safe. I don't think if Richard ever wanted to cash out, he's going to be selling the OA off. That's what I don't think. I don't know, but I don't think. So we have to make assumptions in this game, friends. You already know there are no certainties. We're only dealing with probabilities. So I think that he has his own coin stash. Now, the goal is for us to figure out how much do you think he would own. So you want to know these real numbers. You know there's 600 billion coins, but you can't calculate that in the market cap. That's not the real valuation. We know that. There are about 90 billion coins circulating. 90 billion hex coins circulating. Okay? 90 billion. So how much of those do you think he owns? I can guess about a third. And the higher the number, the better for me and you. The higher the number, the better. If he owned 85 billion, you basically go all in. Because you go, okay, well, this thing's going to the moon. Because you have less weak hands out there who are going to dump. Okay, this guy ain't dumping to make like 40K, 50 mil. He doesn't really care, okay? But other people are. And you see that. I mean, you're going to watch a Hex movie with people dreaming about that, who are unfortunately buying the top as other people were dumping on them who got in earlier. Okay, it is what it is. So this is an interesting experiment to think about. It is an experiment, and we are just hypothesizing. So I think, this is just me, if you put a water pistol to my head, I actually think I think he has like half the coins. That's just me. I think he actually owns half the coins. I can't prove it. I don't know. But somewhere 33% to 50%. And why is that? Well, Satoshi owned almost all of the coins at the start and it got diluted. And I don't know why. I just feel like he would have such a big part of it. That's just me. Just so he can control the supply and he knows he owns most of the coins and it is what it is. I can't prove it. Don't know it. But it does change our valuation. So if we assumed, right, the duck owns 50% of the circulating hex, right, then we get higher valuations. All right, we get higher valuations than what we originally expected. So based off the crowd, you see these numbers here? So based off the crowd, so this was, I did a typo here. Based off the crowd, you could effectively double these. So you get a total hex of about, total hex becomes $1. That's if he owns half of the coins. Okay, PulseX becomes 27x. If he owns half the coins. Because I'm just going to assume he repeated the formula. From Hex, he did it same in Pulse and PulseChain. And for Pulse, it gets a 100x. That's what I'm going to assume. So these numbers, that's why we want one answer. Trust me, I want one answer too. We do. But we can't get one answer, man. Look at this. We're playing with all these numbers. We're exploring all the ranges. These are not certain. That's why even he made a video here for you. I mean, Richard Hart ecosystem, target 150 billion. I know we want to see these target numbers. Yes, I love putting them too. And thank you very much, fans. Like, subscribe, press the bell button and all. I appreciate every single one of you. 150 billion. I just put this nice round number here. But really, I know we are not in control. At the end of the day, we know what's up. At the end of the day, we know Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to get to a point where there's just euphoria. And we're going to use the Wall Street cheat sheet. We'll be able to document it as best as we can. We are in hope and disbelief, which are being rinsed right now. Eventually, it's going to get optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. And then maybe we don't sell the top. No one ever does. Okay. But maybe there's a crash. And then everybody's complacent. That is going to be the end. I don't want to get to that point with most of your bags. You know why? Because no one wants to exit in complacency. Because you see this chart, you have the benefit of looking on the right-hand side to know what goes down. But what you don't know is the real chart actually looks like this. You see that? Look at this chart. You don't want to get out here. No one's getting out here. You have no idea. You see how hard it is? You're like, what comes next? It could go up. How do you know it just doesn't go up from here? How do you know that's not the next leg higher? You got no idea. You see? In fact, there was another crash here. Look at this. There's a crash here. And then it goes up. Uh-oh, crash. Uh-oh, crash. See? So it's not so easy, is it? Unfortunately as well, I've got to show you this. Super important. I've got to tell you this, friends, many, many times. I can't stress to you how important this part is. When you are complacent so this might be a complacency rally, but when you are actually in the real complacency, Bitcoin is down 50%, 40, 50%, but altcoins are down 60 to 75%. So BTC down 50%, altcoins down minus 60% to minus 70%. This is off the top. And you're going to remember your top portfolio value because you're checking it every 5 seconds. So the right thing to do, even though your portfolio is down like 65% to 70%, the right thing to do is to get out. But no one's going to do it. No one's going to click it. It's better to just sell in the face of green candles than to wait for that devastating red. Because you don't even want to be shown what your portfolio was number at the top. Everybody gets the calculator out. They're doing this number. I promise you. And don't think there's just one cycle. Every single cycle was the same. Look at this. Bitcoin goes down 69% here. Altcoins were thrashed. I'm going to show you Cardano, friends. This is such a fantastic example to show you. It's very brutal to look at. Look at Cardano. Look at how low it went in the complacency crash. Okay. 66%, you're not getting out here. No chance you're getting out here. By the time you realize anything's over, it's 87%. Let me even put it on a daily. Maybe it starts to look better. Maybe. But, I mean, do you want to take this chance? That's the question. Do you want to take this chance or you just want to play it safe? Look how absolutely filthy disgusting this is. Look at this. By the time you realize there's a complacency crash, bang, 65%. You're not getting out here. No way in hell you're getting out here. No one got out here, okay? Because everyone thinks, hey, you know, we've made a level here. We should go up. You're not getting out there, okay? It looks easy, yes, because we can see the benefit of the right-hand side. But what are you going to get out here? You don't know. Look at this. Look at this. It looks like it's continuing. It looks like it's continuing. Like, you know, there was green candles here. There's a green candle here. You know, oh, there's a green candle there. Well, how do you know this? How do you know that's the end? You don't. All we can do is try to guess the euphoria. That's why when I bring you these examples, we're here to try to guess to you. We're not trying to play with fire too much. But it is a fascinating example to think about. Hex, Pulse, and PulseX. And we're trying to figure out how high can we go. Well, this is what we're talking about. How many of the coins does Richard own? You don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. This is why in my examples, I assume he owns nothing. I assume that it's literally PvP, player versus player. Duck versus duck, okay? I got my fluffy slippers on. You have your fluffy slippers on. Everybody's just against each other. How is the crowd reacting? So I would rather us be protected mentally, psychologically from now, rather than us playing this guessing game later. Because, you know, these numbers can be wild. I mean, I've gone from here, 50 cents. All right, if you told me Richard owns half the coins, now it's up to $1 straight away. They're big differences. It could be a very, very big difference. Because at 30 cents... someone who's skeptical is starting to think of an exit. right? But if you think it's going to $1, then you don't even have to worry till like 80 cents. That's a world of difference on the chart. You know, but we do have these concrete numbers just to look at. I know people to say like, no, these numbers mean nothing. Trust me, they mean something, friends. Of course they mean something, all right? So Richard Hart ecosystem, it peaked at $45 billion in 2021. And this is the chart right here. Up here was a 45 billion valuation. Now, everyone, and I do mean everybody, says, and everyone says, that we will break the top by 10x. Otherwise, it's a failure. I've heard people go and check on Twitter, go check the YouTube comments. So many people have said, if we don't break the high by 10x, it's literally a complete failure. Let me tell you something. No, it's not. Absolutely not. You cannot say this. I'm trying to help you, okay? You can have your expectations out in the clouds, but I'm telling you now, this does not have to go to a $500 billion valuation just to be a success. You might even say it's already a success because it provides us this opportunity. But that's what it would peak, what stopped that at the top, okay? So I'm trying to ask you now, how high do you think it'll go? Well, we've got different cases here. We don't know where the euphoria is actually going to start. When are we going to start to see the heating up signs? It might not even appear in HEX itself. It might appear in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that won't tell us, okay, everything's about to go down. It just tells us like, uh-oh, the next leg is down, not the next leg is up. You just don't know how high or low the legs are going to be, okay, because euphoria is finally here. So right now, the total ecosystem, it's about 5 billion. If you add up Pulse, PulseX, and HEX, it's about 5 billion. So yes, technically, if everything just does a 9x from here, Pulse, PulseX, and HEX does a 9x from here, we are back at the 2021 top. Yes, that means PulseX is just a 3x from day one sacrifice. That's true. We are back at the top. So that's why I understand why, friends, a lot of people don't want to believe it because they think, so when you say, hey, we're back at the top valuation, they're going to look at their portfolio and they're going to say, wait a minute, I am nowhere near my 2021 portfolio. So this is a wrong piece of information you're trying to give to me. This is FUD. But this is just the truth. This is you add them all up. These are the numbers. I know sometimes the numbers, they're hard to hear, but you got to look at them, okay? So we do know the crowd expects a 100x. Pulse, PulseX, and HEX together. We do know they expect that. If you add them all up, adds up 500 billion-ish. They actually expect a bit higher than this because in my previous video with my calculations on this, what I did was I said that Pulse, they were expecting Pulse to be 100x, okay? But Pulse going from here to match where their PulseX expectation of 100x is, Pulse is actually 280x. So this is something to think about. The crowd really expects 280x rally in PLS from here. So this is what they really expect. And if you do that, that's about a 370 billion valuation here today. So just providing you the numbers, this is what the crowd expects. I'm not saying that this will or this won't happen. You got to make that decision. I'm just telling you, if you go to a 400-ish billion valuation for Pulse, I want you to know how big this number is. Because today, Ethereum is 227 billion valuation. So 227 billion, and this is how we can like relatively compare to what the unicorn of the industry is. So you're thinking, okay, if Ethereum after 9 years is about 220 billion today, we will need a seismic shift. All right. Now, we all believe we're going to get the bullish numbers and we're all going to pump. And I pray we do. But this is the world we're looking at. We're looking at if Pulse gets to twice what Ethereum's value is today, what does that look like? We have to see the Pulse ramp bridge bringing everybody in. We have to see MakerDAO. We have to see Uniswap. We have to see all these institutions and all their ideas funneling over because they have all the money. Otherwise, where's the money going to come from? Because it's not going to come from BlackRock. They can't even buy us, for example. So the valuation has to come from somewhere. Okay, so when you have an insight as to where everybody expects, I'm glad you are able to watch my videos to show you, okay, this is where everybody expects. So before we get there, there has to be signs. There has to be signs, right? Now, of course, who's going to be the arbiter of truth? It's going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. So all we're doing, friends, this is why there's nothing to be worried about. Like, we don't even know, okay? All we're doing is we're basically just trying to guess How high are we going to be up here? You know, that's why all my videos, they're here to help you. They're here to tell you, hey, like, imagine me trying to tell you the weather in exactly 392 days, right? It could be thunder, it could be rain, it could be snowing, it could be cloudy, sunny, anything. That's why we're trying to tell each other right now, if we take a long-term view, which is what we've been doing, okay? Now, 2023, friends, or more than halfway 2023. I've been talking about this for like years. If we take a long-term view, we are equipped in the risk zone for Bitcoin. Whether it hits 80,000 or 120 or 200 or 300. No matter what it hits, we are going to be prepared. You see this sad face? We are going to have a happy face. That's going to be us, me and you, partying here. And yes, there will be a little peanut brain here just to signify his, okay? Signify this. We're going to be happy because sure, we wanted the super bull case for all the altcoins and the total crypto market cap. But what if the dice rolls on snake eyes, man? If only you had a friend who was telling you that this green box was not a box to be avoided. It was the box to go aggressive and buy as much as you can in the things you believe in. Growing network effects. That's what's going to take us to the golden lands. Like, subscribe, press the bell button and all. Tell mom and dad we still love them. We still appreciate them. We're going to win no matter what, friends. I'll catch you in the next one.